Welcome to Local Business Spotlight, everyone. I'm Troy Thompson. Joining me today is the incredible man that knows all about how to finance your new homes, Mr. Bruce Dodd from People's Home Equity. How are you, sir?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Fantastic. Well, I want to get straight into this because we've just seen an interest rate hike. I want to understand, we've been so blessed for the last few years to have such low interest rates. Are you concerned about this at all?
Well, thing is when you have historic lows, can't stay that way forever. And so to a degree, I think we need to have some perspective. If we look over the last decade, 5 of those years, we had interest rates north of 5.5%. And people were buying plenty of houses. For people that are buying houses in Chattanooga, Tennessee, yes, it's impactful to your payment if interest rates move up, but it's not that much because for most people, the average is less than 300,000. Now, one of the things is I do think people need to make sure they understand is there's a difference between Fed action and mortgage interest rates. What the Fed does impacts rates, but it doesn't necessarily drive it. So when we see the Fed talking about future rate increases, that may actually help the mortgage market. It may help interest rates on mortgages because what they're trying to do is get inflation under control. So when the Fed takes action to impact inflation, that helps long-term interest rates. So really a bigger rate hike might have helped mortgage rates out more than the small rate hike they just recently did.
So because they're talking about there could be another 3 increases by the end of this year.
Yeah, the big issue isn't what the Fed is doing. The big issue is inflation.
Right.
And so what drives mortgage rates is the purchase and sale of mortgage-backed securities. If you're buying mortgage-backed securities, inflation's a concern for you. So I think mortgage-backed security market is going to welcome more Fed action because that's impacting long-term interest rates.
So you can get a mortgage now if you have good credit rating and a good deposit for like 2.7 or so, couldn't you?
No.
No? They stay around the 3%?
No, that 30-year rates are more like in the mid 4s. 15-year rates are in the 3s.
Okay, so we're not looking at major hikes. Like you said earlier on, Bruce, that it's not going to really affect your mortgage payments?
Well, it depends. If you're borrowing $1 million, yeah, it's a pretty big impact. But the regular person is not. Yeah. And so, yes, it's going to impact the payment, but it's not life-changing. Yeah. And so I think what is important is for people to look at what is their particular situation. And I think the reality is if buying a house is on your to-do list, I'd probably move it up on the to-do list to try to make that happen sooner. If selling a house is on your to-do list, now's a heck of a good time. And so I think the reality is that where interest rates are right now are right where they were prior to COVID. Right. It's right where they were.
Talk to me a little bit about how does the refinancing market affect us with this now?
Okay, so refinances, there's kind of 2 reasons people refinance. One is to cut their term or lower their payments. It's called a rate or term refinance. The other is called a cash out refinance. Yeah. So you still are seeing lots of people say, hey, maybe I just want to stay in this house. I've got tons of equity. Maybe I want to pull some money out of this house to fix it up a little bit. So you're seeing a lot of people doing cash out refinances right now.
As always, buddy, you give us great information. We really appreciate you.
My pleasure.
If you want to find out more information, there it all is up on the screen for you. Been chatting away to Bruce Dodd from People's Home Equity.